r/ask Reddit. What makes you roll your eyes every time you hear it? Whenever you're at a large function for work with a speaker in the morning and there's this exchange. Speaker, good morning everyone. Everyone, good morning. Speaker, oh looks like we haven't had our coffee yet. I said good morning everyone. Everyone, good morning. I took a public speaking class as a requirement my first couple years of college. One of the first things he told us was do not do this. For obvious reasons. It's annoying and it's just unnecessary filler, and to him it was a sign of an insecure speaker, lol. I still take mental points off for any speaker I hear do this today. When I was in academy, we had an instructor with Tourette's. To combat it, he would come in a shout as loud as he could, good afternoon class. To which we would respond as loud as possible, good afternoon, sir. And then he would calmly ask us to take our seats. How does this help? If you know, the tics are like an itch. Scratch it and it won't bother you for a while. Results may vary because everyone is different. When people say you're doing something the wrong way, but really they usually just mean you're not doing it their way. My grandma, I don't care how I'm folding it wrong. It's my shirt. Put a sweater on. I'm cold. My mom lives to tell people to wear a jacket. Sometimes it's not even her kid. The word millennials when said by any kind of reporter/TV presenter. The millennials are killing Applebee's. Applebee's needs to die. That place's sadness and shame manifest. How about the winning lottery numbers when I ask if I can do anything else for someone? Every time we're at a restaurant or something and are asked need anything else, my dad always, without fail, responds with a bag of hundreds followed by a pitted laugh from the recipient. 10% of your brain. Had a friend ask me if I thought that, if we could use more than 10% of our brain, we would be able to fly. Took some restraints to not go off about it. A full keyboard has over 100 keys, but we only use 1 or 2 at a time. Imagine how fast you could type if you could use 100% of your keyboard. Thank the movie Lucy for reviving and spreading that BS myth when it was already dead. It was pre-Lucy, but I know the question came from a movie with a similar premise. Like if you could just use a little more of your brain, it would mean superpowers. Never ever something like crippling OCD or paranoia, or hypersensitivity to any stimuli, or like flowers for Algernon where an increase in intelligence results in loneliness and hate and isolation. Always superpowers. I argued this one with my older sister and stepdad until I was in tears. They insisted that we only use 10% total. I said that made no sense. They laughed and said I'd understand when I was older. I'm older now and I understand they're morons. Maybe they insisted because it was true for them. Whenever someone uses their star sign as a reason for their shitty actions, I can't help being brutally honest. It's a Leo thing. No, Emma. It's a you're passive aggressive beach thing. The constellations and planetary positions aren't the reason you're dunned. You are the reason you're dunned. Oops, I just ingested 16 pounds of ketamine and ran over multiple women and minorities. I'm such a Virgo Mayo. Consume ketamine I must. Corporate speak and buzzwords. Okay, let's touch base next Tuesday to see how we can leverage those synergies to add value with our ideas for a bespoke product. Sounds good. I'll circle back with you once we visualize our North Star for the campaign and see if I can identify any potential hand raisers to bring into the funnel. Looking forward to connecting. We'll update you again tomorrow with regards to the new campaign that the team will be rolling out in T+10 working days. There will also be a networking session on the day of the launch. Please kindly be informed that the paperwork requires your signature. Kind regards, Mr. Duckyu. Per my last email, I must advise you that the requested paperwork cannot be authorized unless a verified signed is present. In order to maximize corporate functions, this duty can only be performed by green band or higher staff. When an item at a store is not scanning properly, it must be free. I've heard this way I too many times. When someone asks to use a bathroom and the teacher says I don't know, can you? Yes, I can. Walks out. Yes, I can even demonstrate it for you. Peas on desk. I'm not rude. I'm just honest. I'm being brutally honest. No, you're being a dong. These people care more about the brutal part than the honesty part. Being rude is not a virtue. It is possible to tell the truth and not make someone feel worthless. As a mother, or when you become a mother, I want to see as a Mothra come into fashion. You think it's going to be a rant about vaccines, but then they destroy Tokyo. Live, laugh, love. My mom has this tattooed on her wrist. What's her name? Karen. Working hard or hardly working? Hot enough for ya? Looks like someone's got a bad case of the Mondays. If you've got time to lean, you've got time to clean. Influencer. Shudder. They've started using that term at work and I just want to vomit every time I hear it. Black. Video games make people. Insert dumb thing here. What fascinates me is how it never works in good ways. Like in WoW I'm a healer, doesn't that mean I'm going to go be a doctor or save lives somehow? That means saying something positive about video games. We can't have that. I used to work at Cheers. I got so ducking tired of the amount of people asking if I knew their name as soon as they walked in. Cheers was a real bar. Was it the actual same bar or modeled off the show? There are two in Boston. The original that the show was based off of and the replica that they built to look like the set. I study psychology and about 1/3 the time I hear people say something like, oh well you have the perfect people to study on here, because we're crazy. Oh, yes, have a PhD in social psych. What do you do? I'm thinking of a way to avoid saying psychologist, but failing. I do research in social and experimental psychology. 1 of 3 responses follow. Oh, well you have the perfect people to study on here, because we're all crazy. Don't you go psychoanalyzing me. Can you read my mind? I'm in quantitative psych now, and I study AI learn to get these questions. Good vibes only, duck you and your fake vibes. I know this guy whose status always read along the lines of peace, love and safety to everyone. Curiously, however, every time I hear about him, he's getting thrown out of bars and events for being belligerent and violent. I am not involved in politics, but, we need to rise up against children with leukemia. They have oppressed us gamers for too long now. Do you play basketball? I'm 6'4" and this is by far the most annoying part of being my height. How's the weather up there? Oh god, that's the second most annoying question. Can you reach that for me? I'm going to start asking short people to get low items for me so I don't have to bend over. Supposedly I could care less. Pacifically. Liberty, or parts of Wisconsin where a friend apparently thinks it's okay to say borrow instead of lend loan. Can you borrow me a pencil is the absolute worst. My boyfriend uses pour instead of give serve all the time. Drives me crazy. Can you pour me a slice of cake? No I cannot. Irregardless. Well-supported scientific theory is just a theory. Not all theories are equally valid. You can't deny a theory with enormous evidence behind it on the grounds that it's a theory. You had to refute the evidence. Free speech. I can say whatever I want. Free speech doesn't absolve you of any responsibility for what you say. That the human eye can only see 32 frames per second. Forced participation. Especially at work events. I was out of state for some training. At one of the training sessions, they tried to entice us into participating with gluten-free bite-sized muffins. I'm already irritated by the gluten-free people unless you're truly allergic. Cut that shit out. But it was the begging for treats-esque vibe that I was getting that sent me into duck this mode. My old workplace, at a makeup retailer, tried to incentivize my team to sell their product by promising us a pizza party if we reached our numbers. Like, dude, I work specifically so that I can afford pizza on my own. That I can eat by myself at my own house. There's no way I'm going to strong arm a bunch of naive old white women into buying whatever skincare snake oil you're peddling so that I can eat one slice of pizza during my 15-minute break of the day. Duck off. I've done my research. I know what I'm talking about. This is generally in regard to something scientific in nature. Diets, global warming, dietary supplements, medical stuff, etc. From what I can tell, their research consists of reading blogs by random moms who don't know what they are talking about and reading Facebook posts from people involved in multi-level marketing crap. That is not research, and you do not know what you're talking about. Everything happens for a reason and God only gives us what we can handle. She just got diagnosed with a serious disease, Karen. She doesn't want to hear that, for duck's sake. Using "I'm a religious man woman" as a reason for leniency when someone has done wrong. Because I said so. When I heard this as a kid, my eyes were on the verge of falling out of my head. If I earn more money, I'll just pay more taxes, so it's not even worth getting a raise. No offense, but in my honest opinion, I think that sometimes it's used as a way to say, hey, I care about you, so I'm not trying to utterly insult you, but would you kindly try to understand my point? Except 90% of the time it's probably people who just think they're in the right and the one who's taking offense is absolutely wrong. You would be so much prettier if you just shut up, Karen. You look like a beached whale on meth. You have depression? Just cheer up or something. Why do you look so sad? Well, I was doing just fine actually, but now I'm irritated. Boys will be boys. That one girl that must add unnecessary commentary to whatever the professor says. Shut up, Amy. No one cares. When family members bring religion into conversations. If someone told you to jump off a cliff, would you? If Rosa were to jump off a cliff, she would have done her due diligence regarding the height of the cliff, the depth of the water, and the angle of entry. So yes, if you see Rosa jump off a cliff, by all means, jump off a cliff. Let's just think out of the box here. Ugh. My mom always blaming drugs for Disney actors' deaths. When I told my mom Boyce died of a seizure in his sleep, my mom instantly blamed it on crack. When my friend says my daily prescription will lead to drug addiction. Whoa, you made it to the end? You're a ducking beast. I'll cut you a deal. Smash like and subscribe for more curated content, bruh. It's free and that's a great price.